Come with me, toy fans.
Hey toy fans, I want to talk to you today about COPPA law. COPPA is the Child's Online Privacy Protection Act. There have been a number of videos that have come out over the last week or so around this. I'm not making this video to follow a trend. I don't think this video's going to get too many views. Probably only like the hardcore viewers of this channel will even watch this video. But it's quite a significant change to the YouTube landscape, and something that I feel it's about time I weighed in with my thoughts, I suppose. So I'm not going to go into the full details of what this is all about. I'm sure if you've already clicked on this video and it's got COPPA written in the title description, you kind of understand what this is already about. But the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act and the FTC, which is the US Federal Trade Commission, fined YouTube a ridiculous, like $140, $170 million because they were collecting data on children under 13 and deliberately marketing to them. Now, this has put a lot of YouTube toy channels in quite a predicament, in quite a precarious situation, in quite a predicament, because although I have always made the content on this channel, for fellow adult enthusiasts, because I talk about subjects such as, well, I don't know that many kids who are into Action Man now because it's not even on the shelves anymore, but I make videos about Star Wars, Masters of the Universe, superhero characters, G.I. Joe, stuff that is appealing to children. So it does kind of put us all into the firing line. And there are a lot of other channels around who have put out statements. Some have said them far better than I probably ever can. But basically, if the FTC and COPPA law, if the FTC decide that you are making videos that are deliberately targeted towards young children and you're not upfront about it, I mean, first of all, if you are upfront about it, you have to put your video onto YouTube Kids, which then makes it pretty much unsearchable. You can't monetize it, any of that kind of thing. But if you say that you're not, I was going to say pandering to a child audience, that's not the word they use. If you say that you're not deliberately making your video to attract a child audience and they disagree and they think that you are, you can potentially be fined $42,000 per video. As I said, I've never made any of the content on this channel for children. While some children may watch it and it's family friendly, there's no harm in them watching it. I'd rather them watch this than some of the other stuff that's out there on YouTube. I haven't targeted children. I never have. I never will. Which is a big reason, I suppose. I'm happy that I've never reviewed modern toys because I'm not into modern toys, but it's turned out to be a bit of a blessing in disguise in this case. Because by not reviewing modern toys, it's I hope it's going to be difficult for the FTC to say that you're pandering towards children. I mean, when I make a video about Evel Knievel, most children these days wouldn't even know who he is. Kids these days, most kids don't know about Action Man. Obviously, people know about Star Wars, but I think also people are aware that Star Wars is this overarching brand that appeals to young children and adults, men, women. I mean, Star Wars is such a phenomenon that it crosses cultural boundaries. You have hardcore fans of Star Wars in the United States and in Japan and the Philippines and all these other countries. So I don't feel that making videos about a few old Star Wars figures should anyway indicate to the FTC that I'm making videos that target children. So having said that, and this is really where the whole, I've heard some people refer to this as the toy apocalypse. I'm not sure I quite agree with such a dramatic statement, but that's how some people have referred to this on YouTube, as the toy apocalypse. And this sort of really kicked off, I think it was towards the end of last week, when a lot of us YouTube content creators, we were logging into our YouTube accounts and for the first time seeing a big blue warning sign at the top of our channel pages saying that we had to go in and either individually mark each video as though it is deliberately designed for children, or whether no, it's designed for adults. And then following that, once you sort of selected one of those couple of options there, YouTube then sort of ran an algorithm. They went through your videos. Now, from this first round of kind of reviews, I haven't had a single video flagged. I know a couple of other channels that may have only had like 1 or 2 videos flagged, and they have a much bigger video library than myself. So it is promising that they've only had a couple of videos flagged. I haven't had any videos flagged. However, what I have done is decided that some time ago, I believe it was around towards the end of last year, I made a video called The Evolution of Action Figures, and towards the end of that video, I talked about a mother in England who reached out to me asking to purchase a copy of my a DVD copy of my Action Man documentary for her sons. And I kind of automatically assumed her sons would be like 30, 40 years old. And after I was chatting to her, I found out that her kids were, I think, 7 and 8 or something like that, 7 and 9 years old, around that. And it was quite heartwarming to me to know that, you know, Action Man, this product range, this excellent toy product range that has long since sort of dead and buried, is still interesting to at least a couple of kids in the United Kingdom. So I sent them a Christmas gift, which was a couple of DVD copies of my Action Man documentary. But the mother filmed a video response to them watching my shout out in the video. One of my favorite videos, one of my lowest viewed videos as well, but that's often the case. Some of my favorite videos are not the ones that are popular with everybody else. Now, even though those videos haven't been flagged, I've decided that the reaction video where these 2 young boys from England reacted to my video shout out on YouTube, which is a great video, seeing their reaction. But I thought, no, that's a couple of young English children in one of my videos on YouTube. I can't take the risk. I have removed that video. And if you guys are watching this and your parents are watching this, I apologize for having to take that video down. I think for the security of this channel, it was quite important. However, by all means, reach out to me and I'll send you a digital copy of that video if you would still like to be able to view that video. Having said all that, I'm going to make a couple of statements now that I don't really want to repeat the same thing that everyone else has talked about around COPPA law. As I said, I haven't been flagged, and I don't plan on changing anything with this channel. I plan to continue. I plan to continue making the videos the way I make them, because I make them documentary style. Clearly, I feel clearly targeted towards adult enthusiasts. Although, as I said, it's family friendly, so you can clearly sit down and watch one of my YouTube videos with your children and not worry that your children are going to hear profanity or see any images that they shouldn't see or anything like that. It's an important time between now and January to support your favorite YouTube content creators, but I would implore you to be careful of the type of, certainly within the toy space I'm talking here, I would implore you to be very careful about the type of toy content creators that you choose to support. Some of my favorite channels, some of them have made videos about this already. Probably the most prominent one for me is Michael at Retro Blasting. He's really leading the way here. I don't want to make a duplication of effort with what he's already doing. So what I will do instead is put some links in the description of this video. There is a change.org petition where we're sort of appealing to the FTC to not overly restrict or penalise family-friendly content just because it's family-friendly. If we're not targeting towards young children but still making family-friendly content, that's good. Imagine if it kind of went the other way and said, no, anything that's almost family-friendly and covers anything from, say, Superman, right? Superman's been around since the 1930s. There are fans of Superman that are in their 70s and 80s. But to say because it's a superhero character that it's deliberately marketed towards children, that you should be penalised, well, that's quite wrong. Sorry, my cat's just run into the room here. Yeah, so I implored to you to be selective about the type of channels that you do support. We do need your support now more than ever. Sign the petition at change.org to support YouTube content creators. As I said, I'll leave a link in the description below. I signed up to the petition today when I saw it on the Retroblasting Facebook page. There is also a sort of pre-populated letter that you can download from Google Docs, and I'll put the link in there. This has been generated by Michael from Retroblasting, where you can kind of change a few of the details in there, but basically put across your points to the FTC, because they do want, between now and January, they are asking for the public's input, so it's important that we give them our thoughts on this whole topic. It's also more important, it's important now more than ever to support your favorite content creators on Patreon, because we are potentially in a firing line, and I'm not imploring anyone to go and sign up to my Patreon page because I want $2 a month from you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you are passionate about this content, you are at risk of having all of this from, and I'm not just talking about my content. You're at risk of having the content from Michael Mercy, Hooded Cobra Commander, Retroblasting, Toy Polloi. There's even a few channels that have already closed down. I'm really sad to see the loss of JoeFan82 and also the Skull Reviews, who have basically shut up shop on YouTube because they're not quite understandably not prepared to put themselves into a position where they could potentially get fined $42,000 for a video on YouTube where they're just talking about some G.I. Joe figures. So I'm not asking you to join the Patreon pages of these various channels to try and generate revenue, but it may possibly be, come January, the only way that you can get our content. And if that's the way things have to go, and we have to move away from YouTube and perhaps use Vimeo. Vimeo charges content creators a monthly fee. I mean, $75 monthly fee. That's American dollars. To me, that's $100 a month to be able to upload videos. And then the revenue we will receive will come from Patreon, and Patreon alone. We don't make any revenue from the advertisements. Now, I have had some people tell me over the years, not many, but I have had some people, I think I put up an announcement video, excuse me, when I first opened my Patreon page. It was a comment only from one person, but it really affected me. And this person said, no, this is your hobby. Don't start up a Patreon and pander to people for funding. And that one comment alone, who was from a regular viewer of the channel, actually didn't stop me from doing Patreon, but it made me take down the video where I was asking people to sign up to Patreon. Excuse me, my cats are in here. George! Hey! Sorry guys, cats are fighting again. I've got my cat and my wife's cat, they like to fight. Where was I? Yeah, so talking about Patreon. Yeah, this one guy's video comment made me take down that video, because yes, I do this as a hobby, I do this as a passion, but also producing content on what I hope is to a high quality is not cheap. It costs money producing content, and I've consistently tried to improve the quality of this content over the 3 and a bit years that I've run this channel. I mean, just last week I spent $75 on a new microphone, and I had some small batteries. I had 2 small batteries for my camera, which were always running out. They were struggling to hold their charge, so I went out and I bought 2 batteries that sort of last 3.5 hours. That cost me in excess of $200. That and the microphone, that's $300. And I know a lot of YouTube content creators won't tell you how much they make. I'll be perfectly honest. So I think this month my ad revenue is $450 Australian, which is probably around $325 American. That's what this channel makes. And when you go and spend $75 on a microphone, $200 on a couple of batteries, I have a $125 a month internet bill, most of which goes to uploading videos. There isn't much left over. So none of the revenue on this channel actually goes to purchasing toys. That still comes out of my own, what disposable income I have. I have to be very careful purchasing toys. I've got a family to take care for. Can't just go and blow all my money. But the revenue from the channel goes back into the channel. I've got an iMac computer that all the videos on this channel have been produced on. But this iMac is getting close to being 12 years old. It's getting very, very slow, and a replacement iMac is going to front me around $2,000, probably $2,200 once I get the software that I need for the video editing. So this is not a source of income for me. So when I say, you know, support your content creators by signing up to Patreon, a lot of them, their revenue from the channels will drop. But keeping a channel like this afloat, and Retro Blasting and Toy Polloi and all those other channels, it actually costs money to keep those afloat. You know, I'm not going to spend $125 a month on an internet bill when I could sign up to the local internet provider for $60 a month for a much lower sort of data usage, because I'm not uploading several gigabytes of videos every month. So that's where the ad revenue and the Patreon revenue goes at Analog Toys. I mentioned it earlier, and I probably didn't elaborate on what I said. I implore you, and this is where my comments are probably going to differ from some of the other comments that have been made on YouTube. I implore you to be selective about the content creators that you support. And as I say that, this whole thing has been brought about by YouTube and Google, you know, breaking the law. You know, they've been collecting data on children under the age of 13. That's not right, and I do agree in parts with the Child's Online Privacy Protection Act. Well, I completely agree with the Child's Online Privacy Protection Act. I am just a little bit nervous about how they apply some of these new laws to content creators. What has not helped the situation, though, is that there have been some toy-related channels over the years that may have started out solely as channels for like-minded collectors, whatever the retro franchise may be. But over the years, as they've started to get a bit of a name for themselves and have generated a little bit more income and ad revenue, they've gotten onto the radar of some of the bigger companies and have willingly accepted kind of merchandising. I don't know whether they have merchandising deals or whether they're just getting free stuff, but they have changed the style of their content over the years to deliberately market a child audience. You know, you don't see me in any of my videos reviewing the latest. I saw some new Lego stuff out the other day. It's like a ghost hunter type Lego stuff. I'm not picking up that Lego stuff and coming back and reviewing this new brand of Lego. I wish I could remember what the name of it was now. You don't see me picking that up and bringing it home and reviewing that, because if I was to do that, I clearly know there are adult Lego collectors out there, but this particular new Lego brand is clearly, in my opinion, clearly targeted towards children. I don't know any adult collectors who are going to collect this particular branch of the Lego brand. You don't see me picking those things up, bringing them home and reviewing them to get extra clicks on my videos and increase my ad revenue, because that's not what this is about for me. Like the revenue that this channel creates, which I'll be honest, after 3.5 years, I've only really started to see some revenue, any revenue that can really help the channel, probably in the last 12 months. And it goes towards camera equipment, or I've said it all before. That's not why I do this, but there have been some other YouTube channels out there who over the years who started out with good intentions and then started to get offered deals where, you know, we'll give you some free stuff and you can promote it, whether they have actual marketing deals or not. And they've kind of deliberately started to follow trends and target a younger audience by promoting, whether it be, you know, Hasbro, Mattel, NECA, I don't even know the names of all the bloody modern toy companies these days. They have deliberately, to increase the revenue on their channel, have sort of sold their soul and not continued doing what they originally started out doing, and went off into another direction. And that really hasn't helped the rest of us. It hasn't helped the rest of the retro toy YouTube community. It really hasn't helped the content creators. And I feel that we are all going to get rounded up and herded into the same corner, told to face the wall, and all get shot in the back of the head, because yeah, it's not right. So having said all of that, and I know I've probably waffled, how long have I talked for? My camera hasn't got a timestamp on it, I don't know. Apologies for a really, really long video, but I wanted you to know my stance. Analog Toys will continue to make content about vintage toys. Reviews of modern products, not that I've done many, although my most recent video was a video on a 1/6 scale collectible figure. Any future companies who reach out to me wanting me to review modern products will be told, you know, thanks but no thanks. That's not what this channel is going to do anymore. I'm not going to review anything modern. I took the advice of retro blasting, and I have an unboxing video that will be dropping in a couple of days. I still want that video to drop because the mystery box came from a very good friend of mine, so that video will drop. But in future, there will not be any more mystery box unboxing videos. I don't really feel comfortable. I've had some really generous gifts over the last month, and it's quite overwhelming, and I really don't actually feel comfortable receiving any more. I don't deserve any more. There won't be any more unboxing videos. If people want to send donations to this channel, I'm going to be quite reluctant and quite selective on sort of who I let send me a donation, and if they do, I may just make a private video for them. I'm not sure, but I never set out when I started this channel to make it about unboxing videos anyway. I set out to make you guys some really entertaining, documentary styled, well-researched feature videos on the toys that we grew up with in the 60s, 70s and the early 80s. That's the content I want to bring to you guys. I don't think you need to see me, as much as I enjoy opening those videos, and it seems as though a lot of people like watching those videos, unboxings is just having the word in the title of a video can be clickbait for young children. So that's going to stop for the time being. I think we'll see what plays out over the next couple of months. Yeah, all right, so I've definitely rambled enough now. I've probably already said that once or twice in this video, but I wanted to weigh in, and I really want to implore you, yeah, your favorite content creators do need your support now more than ever. If you can't afford to sign up to their Patreon page, don't sign up. I'm not asking you to, even spend a couple of dollars a month, but do the things that can support these channels that don't cost you anything. Sign up to the change.org petition, send a letter to the FTC, and show your favorite channels their support. But just think about the channels that you are supporting, okay? I'm telling you right now that I do not make any content that specifically targets a child audience. And neither does Dave at Toy Polloi. Neither does Brian at Hooded Cobra Commander 788. Neither does Michael and the rest of the team at Retro Blasting. Michael Mercy does not make content that deliberately targets children. There are other channels that are, and I would potentially advise you to not distance yourselves from them, but I wouldn't support them, because although they're not solely responsible for what's going on at the moment, they really haven't helped the situation. So, Analog Toys, business as usual for now. We'll see what happens in January. And I hope that in the last video that drops in at the end of December, whenever that is, I've got a lot of content planned between now and then. But when the last video in December drops and I say my usual see you in the next video, I hope that is the case. I really hope that I see you in the next video. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this isn't too much of a downer in the middle of your week, but I just had to get these thoughts off my chest. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in a new video tomorrow, an unboxing. The last unboxing you'll see on this channel for a while. Thanks very much. See ya.